Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Roberts, and I am the Executive Director for Career and Leadership here at MGA. I have been asked to talk with you briefly today about the LSAT and law school applications and how to apply, and how our office may be able to help you with that process. So we are located on the Macon and the Cochran campus. Got our contact info here on the slide. Feel free to reach out to us via email, but you can also use Handshake to schedule appointments with us, either virtually or in person in Cochran or Macon. So you might be wondering how we can help you with applying to law school. You're thinking, well, they're not attorneys. How do they know anything about law school? Well, we work with students all the time who are thinking about graduate education after college. And a big piece of that is being prepared for that search process, navigating the applications, being able to put your resume together, your interviewing skills. We also provide some networking opportunities. Sometimes we may have a law school here during one of our grad school pop-ups or a career fair. We also have Handshake, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. There's a lot of information in Handshake you may be surprised about that could help you with part-time jobs, internships, and possibly even researching law schools. I've also included some information here about our Focus 2 career assessment, just in case you're needing additional support on exploring career options. Okay, so your professor sent me a few questions ahead of time that I'm going to address briefly and give you some information where you can dig deeper. I am going to refer a lot to the LSAC website, and that stands for the Law School Admissions Council. It is a one-stop hub for everything related to the LSAT, applying to law school. You're going to do most of your law school applications through this, in addition to signing up for the LSAT. So one of your first steps will actually be to create an account on this LSAT website. So our first question is, what is the LSAT and how do I prepare? So the LSAT is definitely an admissions test to help you get into law school. So you might remember the SAT or the ACT that most students will take to get into college. And so we have that for law school too. It tests your reasoning skills, your reading comprehension, and your writing skills, which are all essential to being in the law profession. And so that's why they use that assessment. It's a very good indicator on how someone's going to do in law school. It's important to take that LSAT the spring or summer before the fall you apply. So when you start applying, you should have your LSAT completed so that you're focused on those applications, because that LSAT score is very important when they're evaluating. Our next question, when I'm ready to apply, where do I begin? So I mentioned the LSAC website, creating that account. They have a great resource, and I am going to attempt to pull my my web screen over here so y'all can see it, so that I can go back and forth between that and my slides. If you go over here, actually, if you get down to the bottom, that's the easiest place to find it. They have an application checklist. Start with this, save this somewhere. I'm not going to recreate this for you. They have created it. Use what they have. They talk about meeting with the pre-law advisors. That for you, us, your academic advisor, if you have a faculty member that you work with to talk about law school, all of those people, consider them your advising team, work with them, but create that LSAC account and start getting ready for the LSAT so that you, because a lot of people are going to prepare ahead of time for the LSAT. There is a lot of information on the LSAC website about preparing for the LSAT, everything from free materials to not free materials. So if I go over here to LSAT and I choose practice tests, I'm actually going to have information on what a test really looks like. I can go and take one. I can use some resources through the Khan Academy, which are free for you to learn or for you to use. There are also other types of resources that you can use. Books, you might be able to get a book out of a library. You can also purchase books, but what I would recommend is making sure you take those practice tests just to see what else you need to do to get ready for that exam. Do you need to take a course? And some of those courses offered through Kaplan, they're going to cost a little bit more. So you need to make sure you know what it is you need to be working on by taking those sample tests. Okay, so our next question, actually, I'm just going to keep it on the LSAT page because our next question is, how can I learn and decide about what schools to apply for? So there's information on this LSAT page, again, about your questions. So if I want to choose a law school, I can choose this link here, choosing a law school. There is a list of official ABA approved JD programs. If you're even thinking like, well, there's these LLM and master's programs, what are those like? They've got a guide on those. They have got different information about the fairs that some of these law schools will attend throughout the country that may be available to you. They even have scholarship and financial aid information on here. So when I say one stop, this is a one stop. But when I'm trying to pick those schools, these databases can be really helpful. And one of the things I wanted to show you really quickly, I can go to it by state. I just picked Georgia just because that's where we are. Let's say I'm interested in Georgia State. I can click on Georgia State. It's going to give me some information that they have created. However, make sure you're also looking at Georgia State's website or whichever school you're thinking about, because information changes. You want to make sure you have everything up to date. They may have a general email you can use. That's great if you've got questions, but again, their website might actually have specific people and their email addresses. So make sure you check those things out. All right. So we've talked about how to learn about schools and how to apply. What about those courses that you ought to take in order to be prepared for law school? So I mentioned that reading comprehension and reasoning and writing are important on that LSAT. It's going to be important in your study. So courses that are going to help develop those skills even more for you are the types of courses you should take. There is no prerequisite. There's no pre-law major. You can major in music, you can major in anything and go to law school. But when you're thinking about electives or you're thinking about a major, thinking about something that's going to help you develop those reading comprehension, writing, and reasoning skills, things that are going to make you analytical and a good researcher. Those things are going to help you as you go into law school. You don't have to major in political science. That is one of the things people think, but you don't have to. So next question, how can I find an internship in the legal field? So there's a lot of different ways to get experience in that field. You might even think about part-time jobs at a law office. You might think about internships with a variety of organizations, including federal agencies. We can help you with internships, and internships, getting one isn't just about, hey, a list of jobs and we're just going to send you there. Most places are going to have an application process. And so you want to have a great resume, you want to have a good cover letter, or if you're trying to network, to reach out to a firm locally to say, hey, I want to intern, or do you have any part-time jobs available? You want to have a prospecting letter, and you want that to be really good and effective. So we help you with that, and we want your interview skills to be great too when you're doing those things, so we can help you with that. We do have a staff member in our office that you can schedule an appointment with through Handshake. Her name's Heather McIntosh. She works directly with students who are interested in those internships, or kind of that out of the class experience that's going to get you some more exposure to working in your field, or just something that you're interested in developing your skills in. So what kinds of services does the CCLD offer for students who are interested in law school or legal career? So I mentioned that we can do those individual appointments with you. We can help you with resumes, mock interviews, reviewing your personal statement. We will sit with you and look through that website about the schools and talk about pros and cons and what you're looking for. We can even, if you're thinking, I don't want to do law anymore, I'm looking at other things, I'm trying to figure things out, we can help you with that. Or if you decide to delay law school and you're thinking about jobs, we help with that. So the best thing to remember is anything related to career, we're here to help you with that. And it doesn't matter what your major is. We work with everyone across all disciplines. As we close out, I want to pull up a few additional slides to encourage you with next steps. So LinkedIn and Handshake, I've mentioned Handshake a lot, but I want to mention LinkedIn too. It's a great way to connect with alumni in your field. If you're not sure about LinkedIn or how to use it, that's another thing that we can schedule appointments with you and help you use a little bit better. Handshake is our resource that you want to go and claim with your MGA email. And that's where you can go to the Career Center portion of Handshake, schedule appointments with us. You can also look at job and employer listings. You'll be surprised at some of the things you might see in there that would actually be related to law. And then making an appointment with us, either virtually or in person. We give you free advice on your search, your resume, all of those things related to career. We can help you look for opportunities related to the experience you want to get in your field. And then you also want to use that Handshake application to be aware of all of our events, our jobs, internships that we're posting. And we really encourage you to get that internship or volunteer experience in your field. That, most of all to help you know for sure this is what you really want to do, because going to grad school, law school, any post college education, that is another investment of your time and money. So you want to make sure you're choosing the right thing. Also look for student leadership and involvement opportunities to enhance your experience. So I've got our contact information up here, including our social media sites, our email, our office locations. Please feel free to reach out to us to schedule appointments on Handshake. We're here to assist you with your process. Don't forget the LSAC.org website, lsac.org. That needs to be your best friend through the law school application process.